How's it hanging, YouTube? It's Peter here, your Ginger Jory Geek. Welcome back to the channel for a Quantumania special. Yes, tonight we're getting knee-deep into the quantum realm and talking all things Ant-Man. Now, I can't do it alone, so I'm joined as usual by some good friends, and I'm over the moon to have back on the channel after a short absence, my good friend, Jason. How are you doing, Jason? And there's the quality we expect from Jason.
Hello, how are we?
Very good, mate. Very good.
I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, pleased to see you. Pleased to see you. You got lots going on at the moment, Jason?
Yeah, lots of. I'm branching out into lots of different comic fairs and comic cons. So I'm starting to sell a lot of comics now. I'm fed up of eBay. I've got a lot of people on eBay who keep wanting returns and stuff like that. I've been messed around a lot. So it's really nice going out, meeting people and like-minded people as well. You know, it's great.
That's part of it, isn't it? It's talking to people who you know are actually interested in comics.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's taking off really well at the moment.
Good.
And I've done a couple of recently done a couple of short videos, and I'm going to be back on it again hopefully soon now with some regular videos.
Tremendous. Well, we've missed you on these live shows, Jason. So over the moon to have you back, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Okay, next we've got our good friend from overseas. From the good old state. Is it a state, San Diego? What's San Diego? It's not a state, is it? What is it?
Part of California, isn't it?
It's part
San
of California.
Diego.
Yeah, we've got good old Efren. How you doing, Efren?
What is going on, Antman and the Wasp Quantumania Familia? Got that right.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Very good. Very good. How are you? Are you well, Efren?
Doing fine. San Diego's a city.
It's a city. I knew that. I was just testing Jason to see if Jason knew. So, are you well, Efren?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Just can't wait to get into this movie.
Good. Yeah. It's. I think it's going to be an interesting one. This. Yeah. Now, I know a big fan of the movie. I'm sure he's going to spill the beans in a bit. Is our good mate James?
All right, let's do this.
Ready?
Fighting words, boys. Let's go.
How are you, Jason?
I'm very good.
James, how are you, James?
I am very good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Good. And I know we've exchanged a few messages, so I know you've got thoughts about this movie. I think this is going to be a spicy one. So yeah, have you seen it once or twice now?
Twice.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. Jason, what about yourself?
Oh, sorry, only the once.
Just the once. It's fine, Jason.
Sorry about that.
We'll let it slide. Right. We'll talk about it later, Jason. You've let it down. Efren, how about you?
I just seen it once. Yep.
Good, but you have seen it, yeah. Yeah. Excellent, good stuff. Now, last but not least,
I'm dreading this.
Yeah, we've got everybody's favorite attention-seeking geek. I can see him in the small screen off stage, and I'm not sure if he's come as. Oh, well, let's have a look. What the? I mean, that is you behind that mask, Ben, is it?
Time is but a construct, bitches. Yes, it is I, Crampton the Conqueror. Hello.
Yeah. You look amazing, Ben. Amazing.
You know what? So the mask is so small, like on my face. It's quite.
Oh, you wearing a mask? Oh.
Spoiler warning! It's me.
Oh.
It's not Jonathan Majors. It's me. Hello.
Oh. Had me fooled there for a sec.
Yeah, you look more Wang than Kang, to be honest.
Something went wrong with this variant.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, look at this. This is a. Yeah. Oh no, that's a look and a half. No, leave the hat on, Ben. I love it.
Wow.
Tremendous. How are you, Ben? Are you well?
I'm good. I'm going to derobe now. That was worth it, wasn't it? A day of painting.
It was
that.
very good. Very good.
Unbelievable. The reaction. How are we all? It's good to be here. I'm looking forward to falling out with James, and yeah, let's do this.
Okay, let's get stuck in, guys. Before we do that, just going to quickly jump to the comments. We've got good old StreamYard as usual.
Quack, quack.
Our faithful viewer. We've got Collector Brookman. Thank you very much for joining. Says Jason gave him an invite. Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate that.
That's right.
We've got good old Fuzzy Dunlop. Thank you very much for joining, Fuzzy. We've got Pass Point Comics. Never heard of him. We've got Matthew. Thank you for joining. Congrats on reaching 1,000. Thank you very much, mate. I do appreciate that. We've got DP Venom. Hasn't seen the movie yet, so we'll catch it on the rewind. No problem at all. Fuzzy can't.
Spelled that wrong, mate.
Yeah, I think it's the wrong. Anyway, so let's get stuck straight in, guys. We're going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I know we've all seen now. Really interesting movie. I think this is going to be a bit of a decisive one. So before we start, it's worth saying that there will be spoilers ahead. So if you haven't watched the movie, please do dip out and come back at a later date when you've seen it. It's also worth saying that everybody's views are important. So we might not all agree, and that's part of the joy of doing this show, really, that I'm sure we'll all have different views and opinions, but we'll respect each other's views and opinions. Okay, right. So we've all seen the movie. Before we start, I'm just going to kind of get we each to say a little bit of an overview, just a couple of minutes about your general thoughts on the film. We're not going to go into scene by scene on this one, guys. We're going to go over general thoughts at the start. Then we're going to talk about each of the kind of the key actors and actresses in it, and key players, and the special effects, as it were. Sum up with a bit about the final of it, and then the spoilers at the end, and then sum up with the final kind of score. So, Efren, I'm going to come to you first, just to tell us a little bit about your thoughts on this movie in general.
Actually, James sent me a message like on Friday or Saturday. Did you see it yet? So I said, yeah, I saw it. I'm enjoying these movies, but I don't know, they just don't hold the same for me anymore. As far like when the MCU first debuted with Iron Man. So, like I said, I'm always going to go see these movies, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best movie I'd ever saw from the MCU movies, but yeah, it was okay for me.
Okay, so kind of a bit of a middle of the road.
Yeah, middle of the road
for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. James,
I really liked it. I'm not delusional. There is some bad, not. I wouldn't say outright bad, but there's like a lot of problems with this movie. But I feel like its high points are so high. Like I think there's some of the best MCU stuff we've ever gotten in this movie. So that has kind of elevated the whole thing for me. And it's gotten me excited about moving forward as well, like the overarching story that they're telling here. So a thumbs up from me.
Some of the best MCU stuff we've seen.
Well, particularly regarding the villain of the movie. So yeah.
Okay, right. Ben, what do you think?
2 words: missed opportunity.
I think I know what he saw about.
Various things.
His favorite.
So missed opportunity, Ben. So you're I'm going to take it you're not a massive fan.
No. I came out feeling slightly disillusioned, but maybe not kind of, all the way kind of harsh on it. But the more I've kind of sat on it, the more I'm struggling to sort of find things to celebrate about it, unfortunately. And that pains me to say as well, because Ant-Man 1 and 2 are like 2 of my favorite like MCU films. Ant-Man as a character means a huge amount to me. There's a character in this film that means a huge amount to me as well. So, which I'm sure we'll touch on later. But but no, I just missed opportunity kind of sums it up, and I'll delve into that in a little bit more detail as we kind of cover things. But yeah,
good stuff. Jason,
I'm going to be controversial here. I think it's the best Ant-Man movie.
Wow,
I agree.
If you rewatch Ant-Man 1 and 2, they're not great films. Ant-Man 3. Look, it's not the best movie in the world. I know that, and I'm sure we'll be covering a lot of its shortcomings. I don't understand the hate. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film. I
Preach.
thought it was brilliant.
Okay. So my views on it, I think I put in our group chat, meh, which is about where I am with it. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was horrific. I would agree, Jason, that I think the critics' scores of it seem very, very low. It was okay. It was a popcorn flick. It has some big shortcomings, I think, but I certainly don't think it was a great movie. And I think Fuzzy's put some comments in there, and I kind of tend to agree with him. He said the second was much poorer than the first. I personally agree with that. I enjoyed Ant-Man 1 more than Ant-Man 2, though I still didn't enjoy Ant-Man 2. And he also thought Kang deserved a bigger hero than Ant-Man. Now, we'll come to it at the end, I guess, when we start summarising it. But I think that's bang on. Fuzzy, I agree with that. This, for me, felt like a bit of a well, put it this way. You guys know that I always gauge my reaction by taking my family to see the movie. And my son came out of it, and I built him up saying Kang was going to be the big bad, he's going to be Thanos and all the rest of it. And my son came out and said, not much of a conqueror, is he? He was beaten by some friggin' ants. And I agree with that. So yeah, it was interesting. Just to say, Phil's just popped in. Thank you very much, Phil. No problem at all, mate. We'll catch you next time. Okay, so I like that. We've got a bit of a mixed panel, guys, which is kind of what we thought would happen. I think we've got two people who really enjoyed it. We've got me, middle of the road, Ephraim, middle of the road. Not sure if Ben's middle of the road or under the road. Ben?
No, I'm under.
Slightly below.
You're under.
I'm upper bottom.
You're at the bottom. Okay, which is interesting itself, isn't it? Because I think when we've been working all of it together now for over a year on YouTube, and I think it's really interesting.
Working.
Well, this is working. I get paid. Do you not get paid? We've been doing this stuff for a long time, and I think we've all been very pro Marvel and trying to look at the best because we're so passionate and we love the characters. But I see that slipping a little bit, and certainly myself, and I would hazard at Ben as well a little bit. So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, guys, what we're going to do now is just kind of touch on some of the main characters and just have a little bit of an overview of them. And what I thought we'd do is we'd each kind of take one character to talk briefly about what our thoughts were on them, and then we'll everybody else can jump in at the end there. So I'm going to start off with what I thought was one of the positives of the show, the movie, which was Michael Douglas. I really enjoyed his performance as Henry Pym. I thought his arc was pretty good. We saw more of him, and I would love to see. I know he's getting on in years, but I'd love to see a little bit more of him in the Ant-Man costume. I would have geeked out if he had an Ant-Man costume at the end there. But I thought he played the character really well, and I thought his role in it was quite interesting. What did you guys think of him?
I think the opposite to everything you just said, unfortunately. I really do, because for me, Hank Pym in the comics is such an incredibly complex, individual. He's one of the most flawed characters in the original kind of Avenger books, and I do feel like increasingly so Marvel have kind of just completely drifted away from that element of the character. And for me, he's just far too kind of palatable now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's bordering on sort of generic. He in this film, he's kind of almost a quippy guy. It's like he became the kind of quippy guy almost over Scott Lang at points. And it didn't sort of, there wasn't really ever a sense from Michael Douglas's performance of jeopardy, right. and like of like, it was almost like he kind of laughed off this other lover, of his wife, and I don't know if that's how you would react. He didn't seem sort of intimidated or anything by Kang and Kang's actions, and ultimately, Kang is like, is out there to kill his wife, and that I personally would, invoke a different sort of emotion in me. So yeah, for me, I do feel the other end of the spectrum with him, especially is that he's sort of a bit generic.
I get what you're saying about the kind of the lack of concern about the situation, but I kind of got the impression he was there with kind of excited, open eyes. He was somewhere he was like a kid in a sweet shop kind of thing. But maybe that didn't come over.
I would have liked that maybe at first, and then something twisting in him, but again, that's kind of one of the overarching problems of the film for me, is that Kang never necessarily did anything during the film to warrant, oh my god, because
What about the rest of you? Anybody else got any comments on Henry?
I'm sort of in between you guys. I think he wasn't a standout, but like not something I'd point as particularly bad in the movie.
I always look forward to him coming on the screen.
Yeah,
I have to say, he's an amazing actor, isn't he, Michael Douglas? He's an iconic actor, and whenever I'm like you, Pete, I'm glad he had a bit more screen time as well, because in the previous movies, he's always been a bit of a side dish, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's good to have him more, and I think he's great. He's just brilliant.
He is looking his age, isn't he? I know he's done some press recently, and he said that he would come back for another movie, but only if they killed him off in it, which is interesting. Ephraim, what did you think?
This one,
yeah.
I thought it was an okay character. I just didn't show. I don't know. He didn't show much emotion to me. It was just a normal movie with Mike Douglas in it. I kept on thinking about his dad during the movie, Kirk Douglas. Yeah. But I thought it was, it was okay. His character, they didn't show much to me.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on then to the Wasp. Ephraim, do you want to tell a little bit about the Wasp? How you found her in this movie?
The original Wasp is Michelle Pfeiffer. To me, is hot.
Well, if you find a
performance, though,
performance.
You talk about hot Michelle for a bit, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was. I mean, I liked her character. I'm talking about Michelle Pfeiffer. I thought she had more to do in this movie than the other movie she was in. She showed more like a warrior woman. She's a kick-ass character like the Wasp is in the comic books to me. Janet Van Dyne. I really liked her performance. I thought it was well done. I wish they would have shown more of her in action. I was like, wow, I like the way her character just seemed more into it than previous movies.
Yeah. I thought she was pretty good, and I think one of the highlights of the movie for me was seeing her in that original Wasp costume at one point. Yeah. Where I think we saw some glimpses of her. I thought that was pretty stunning. Anybody else got anything to want to add about her performance?
Yeah, I'd say after Kang, I think she's the standout of the movie, and I think she really sells when they enter the quantum zone. Like, she's shaking. She's so terrified of the fact that they're there, and I think Michelle Pfeiffer did a fantastic job. And it's nice to see her have a bit more to do in this one, because I think she's a bit sidelined in the last one.
I mean, I think she's a phenomenal actress, isn't she? To be fair, she's absolutely stunning. I mean, she's superb. You mentioned kind of being one of the second standout stars. I think for me, one of the big stars of this was Cassie Lang, and I know there's a bit of controversy over the actress kind of taking the role. Well, she didn't personally take the role, but taking the role on from the other young lady who was in Endgame, Infinity War, and whatnot. Jason, what did you think of Cassie in this, and did it get you excited for a Young Avengers series?
It did, but here's the thing: I didn't even know she was a different girl. So, she was good in it. Do you think she was underused a little bit in the film?
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think she was underused? Do you think we've got enough of her?
A little underwritten, I would say. Like a lot of her kind of story is, I just want to do good things, and it's sort of a bit basic,
and don't be a dick, wasn't it?
I did like that a lot, though. But fantastic actress like this. Catherine Newton, I think, is her name. She's in Freaky. She's phenomenal in that movie. So
Freaky? What's Freaky?
It's Freaky Friday, but it's like a horror movie. It's like she swaps bodies with Vince Vaughn, and he's a serial killer. Yeah, she's
Oh, I've seen
amazing in
that.
that movie.
And
So
Detective
Yeah.
Pikachu. Do not forget that.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I did forget actually that she was in Detective Pikachu, but a great actress. So I'm happy to see her. That I'm hoping she has a bigger role in these movies going forward.
You used a word there, James, that I think is perfect, like underwritten. Like
Mm.
because I do feel like she played her role very well, but the scripts just felt so kind of basic level, like in terms of emotion for across the board pretty much, and so she could kind of only do so much. There wasn't that like scene, where like she really believed that her dad was in peril or something, or someone died or something like that. There wasn't that moment that changed her, sort of thing. It just felt like a bit of a giggle by the end of it all.
There was no tears, were there? There was no tears, no emotion.
I mean, it's interesting you both saying that, really, because the more I reflect on it now, there was very much a definite lack of them showing any feeling of danger or concern, even when they landed in the quantum realm. It wasn't really. There was that little bit where Scott was saying okay a lot and stuff like that, but it didn't feel like any of them were particularly concerned, apart from Michelle Pfeiffer, really.
But Scott can kind of get away with it because that's always been Scott's kind of personality. He's been in the middle of like the airport surrounded by Avengers fighting, and he's still kind of making his goofy jokes. So you can kind of get away with it with him, but especially the rest of the family, like it did feel like Michelle Pfeiffer and Jonathan Majors were like in a different film together. Compared to everyone else and everything else that was going on around them.
Interesting. I mean, I enjoyed that performance. I liked seeing her in the purple costume. I'm hoping that we are going to get, a Young Avengers series. It feels like the telegraphing it. All the Disney Plus shows and everything are dropping the hints. If you know your Young Avengers history kind of stuff, you know all these characters that are showing up. And I would really get into that. I think that would be a good movie or a good series to have.
I think I start nitpicking these characters. Cassie Lang, when I was watching the movie, I'm going, how is she so smart? To know about all this stuff. I'm like, come on, but
yeah. No, I agree, Efren. It's been an ongoing kind of fanboy twist of mine that everybody seems to know how to fight pretty much straight away. And it was nice that they didn't necessarily show that with her in this one.
I liked all of that stuff, to be fair.
The stuff there, because I'm a bit sick of people getting a suit and then all of a sudden they're practically ninjas. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, really? James, why don't you talk to her about Antman himself?
He was good, as always. I think that I showed up for this movie, and I said this anytime we talk about this movie for Kang, but I said anything that's good in this movie outside of that is a bonus. And I think Paul Rudd is pretty good in this movie. Nothing exceptional, but like I thought a lot of his comedy for the most part landed. Like I really like the opening scene where he's kind of doing the book tour and sort of has, it's almost like a better executed version of like Spider-Man 3, like this whole kind of hubris thing going to his head. And I like that kind of aspect of it. But I think like there is a good heart to this movie, like his relationship with Cassie, like it may be a little underwritten, but the scene where all the Antmen are like climbing up, it really did, it didn't strike a tear or anything, but I thought it had a nice kind of bit of emotion to it and a bit of weight.
Did I miss the bit in the film, or was it cut out, where in the trailer he said he's missed so much time with her?
Well, it's sort of a misdirect because Kang's actually talking to Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie.
Right. Because I'm sure Ant-Man, Paul Rudd says something like, I've missed so much time with her or something like that.
It was, Jason, it was a very, very clever edit on the trailer because it really telegraphed that Paul Rudd and Ant-Man were having like this big conversation about, I took from that trailer that Paul Rudd was going to go back in time or something. And it was to reset things, So that was it. But I mean, Paul Rudd.
Glad they didn't do that though.
I was worried about that going
done so many times, isn't it?
Is he just playing himself at this stage? But I mean, he's just a very likable guy, isn't he? In terms of his portrayal and stuff. And
there's probably little acting involved, is there? He is who he is, isn't he? And I think the problem is a lot like The Rock, I suppose. quite one-dimensional. He's pretty much the same in any rom-com as well, without the ability to get really small
Yeah, very
or
true.
big. I do like
Ben.
him though.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I think he's a good actor, and I think he did what he could in this movie. I did like James said, I liked the relationship between him and Cassie. I did quite like that, and I think I said to Ben when we came out of the cinema, probably my favorite parts, or some of my favorite parts of the movie, were the start and the end, the kind of the set on Earth where I could see what was going on.
Yeah.
It was just the characters being, in everyday normal life. I liked that.
Yeah, the end one in particular, I really loved.
Yeah.
The tonal shift of that.
Yes, that was
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ben's in pain.
Ben has thoughts.
Ben, I'm going to ask you to talk about Kang, but you can just fill in your pain comment there before Kang. Eh?
No, well, I mean, are we gonna? We'll probably come back to it at the end, won't we? The end sequence and stuff.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah.
Just bite your tongue.
I mean, I can't really comment on Paul Rudd because I am blinded by love for that man. Yeah. And you know what you're going to get, and you get it, and that's fine. He wasn't the problem here necessarily. But yeah, onto Kang, who is without a shadow of a doubt the selling point of this film, and potentially of the next 5 years of Marvel movies. And it's quite comforting to kind of come out of this film knowing, okay, we've got a really great kind of actor and villain on. He's here to do a job, and he's going to do a great job. So that's a big relief, because figuratively and Thanos' boots are big to fill. Josh Brolin's performance as Thanos especially, and they both, like Brolin and Jonathan Majors, both do this thing, right, where they portray sheer madness and anguish without saying anything. Like, as other people are talking, you can see a twitch of the lip, or a slight kind of frown, and they just tell so much story in their expressions without even having to say anything. And then the way that he sort of delivers the lines are so kind of unconventional at times, and it almost breaks the rhythm up of that kind of like Marvel quippy like rhythm. And he completely kind of messes with that, but it has a really great effect because it makes you stop and go, and stop and listen. Like, you hang on every single word he says. Absolutely mesmerizing. He looked like that outfit might be one of my favorite MCU outfits today. He just looked phenomenal in that. That sexy chair, and just amazing. So definitely, if I am going to celebrate anything tonight, it's Kang and his performance.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right, Ben. For me, he was the standout of the movie, which we kind of thought he would be going into it. I was blown away with him in Loki. I thought he was excellent in that, but this totally just blew me. It was superb. And like you said, he was more scary when he wasn't doing the bit at the end with the rays coming out of his hand and stuff. He's kind of, at one point, I can't remember, was it when Scott had the whatever the McGubbin was that they had in his hand, and he kind of looked at him and his eyebrows moved, and he said, "Am I going to have to take that?" or something like that.
That's great.
And I just thought, oh, this guy is, the facial expressions, the tone, very good. Very, very.
But he was calm when he said it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he wasn't like screaming or shouting or anything.
Yeah, his lip is
but
quivering.
There were scenes, weren't there, where, like, I think as Ben described, where kind of when he was talking, you could see he was starting to get a little bit annoyed, and it was just this change in his face, just looked phenomenal. Efren, what did you think of Kang?
Speak of the actor, I think you have to be a really good actor to portray Kang, because he has so many different iterations about this character, and I think he had the best role in this movie because his acting chops were really stretched from angry to sadness, just everything in between. So I think he was more vested in this movie than the other actors, because the other actors, a lot of them were just one-dimensional. But him, I mean, at the end, the extra credit scenes, I was like, oh my God, you have to be a really good actor to pull that off.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that because you're right. Yeah. And this is part of I guess the thing that's got me most excited about this movie, it was what we saw at the end in terms of not necessarily how it was delivered, but what it might mean in the future and what we might be seeing, I think.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to say anything about Kang before I move to the comments?
I think this is my favorite MCU villain performance. It's like the room changes temperature when he walks on screen. He's that captivating and just that kind of. He's so terrifying as well, and a lot of that's in the kind of delivery of the lines and like this, the bit where he's torturing Cassie effectively and says like, "I'll kill her in front of you and make you relive it." It's just horrific, like absolutely incredible, and yeah, it's a performance with a lot of range. Like he has almost like an endearing kind of quality to him when you don't know that he's Kang, and then that kind of regalness that comes in when he gets the suit back and everything is absolutely phenomenal.
I'll tell you what the Marvel writers are quite good at is to take a villain and almost make him sympathetic at times as well. Because the very beginning when he sort of crash landed, and you kind of thought, well, he's quite a nice guy. He seems quite friendly.
I think that was him manipulating her, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think I would say that that's one of his selling points now as a villain is that I don't think they are trying to make him sympathetic. I think he's one of the least. I think He Who Remains obviously was, but I think this version of Kang and by the looks of it, the other versions we're going to get are actually just your old-fashioned villains, just bad guys because they are bad guys, and that's quite refreshing.
I mean, if you look at the comic character, and this is kind of a hope where they're going with it and stuff like that. I know there's lots of variations and stuff like that, but at the core, Kang the Conqueror just conquers because he likes it. It's not. It's about being the best. He likes to. I mean, he switches his technology off and has fist fights and stuff. There's no niceness about him, is there? It's just I want to be the best. So I'm hoping we're going to see more and more of that.
For me, it really did feel. I know some of you felt like there maybe wasn't enough stakes in this movie, but I thought if he gets out, it's over. That's the Avengers in every timeline are gone. That's the end of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, James. I think the stakes in terms of him getting out would have been good, but the stakes in terms of what was happening in the actual movie just felt a bit flat to me. But again, we'll touch on that as we're going. I just want to quickly jump into the comments, guys. We've got Fuzzy saying Antman is a B or C tier Avenger, whereas Kang is widely considered as one of the big baddies in the MCU universe. It felt like, I agree. It did feel strange to launch him in this movie for me, I think.
To be fair, though, that's something that's acknowledged in the movie. Like he says, you're out of your league, Antman, and do you really think you could win and everything? So it's not just he's not descaled for Antman.
But then he gets
you're the one with the hammer, didn't he?
Yeah, that was a good line.
And he's like, he's killed Avengers left, right, and center his whole life.
Well. But I guess just putting me negative hat on, that's part of my problem with it. He's stated twice, I've killed many Avengers, or you the one with the hammer, implying he's killed Thor. And then the end scene, he is literally beaten up by ants. I know
they're super advanced ants.
Did you see much of that? I mean, they stood on him.
Well, it's an Ant-Man movie. Of course, ants save the day. It's you're gonna moan in Lord of the Rings when the Rohan riders come in.
Yeah, I'm sure his powers were restricted where he was because it was like a prison for him, wasn't it?
Maybe, maybe.
So,
you may be right, Jason. You may be right. Morok CGI looked real bad. Oh, I thought it was superb. We'll get to that in a bit, Matthew. We'll get to that, mate.
Can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
Sarcastic, absolutely sarcastic. Louis is saying Kang from Ant-Man isn't supposed to be the most powerful and disastrous variant of the character. He was banished for his ideas and desires. Okay.
Now,
interesting, maybe.
Do you think this is the Kang that took over the TVA? Because he mentions incursion events and that he took control, and that's why he got banished, isn't it? As he was destroying other timelines.
He Who Remains.
No, at the very end of Loki, when you see the statue of Kang.
Right.
Do you think that's this run?
Maybe, might be. I hadn't thought of it like that, but it might be. Yeah,
I got that kind of bad. My
money's on the variant return for Secret Wars as the MCU version of the Beyonder. Wow, that would be an interesting switch. Arista Jack, hi everyone. Glad to be here. It was lovely to meet you and Ben last weekend. Yeah, definitely, mate. Nice to see you. Nice to see you at the convention in Leeds. Connie, I haven't watched it, so I'm here to drop a like and just say hi. Thank you very much, Connie. I do appreciate that. My friend went to see Quantumania and he said it was okay, but not good. Yeah, I think that's certainly how I feel, Arista Jack. So yeah. And we've got Fuzzy, you should see me in a blazer, deadly. I think that's in reference to Kang's costume. Interesting. And we've got Roscoe. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you, Roscoe. Just touching on Kang's costume there again. Ben, that's a definite hot toy purchase. Are you picking that one up if it comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
It's the costume design's stunning.
Yeah. I mean, like, imagine the chair diorama or vehicle. It would be horrendous amounts of money, but imagine.
Yeah.
Look at that smile on Ben's face now, just thinking about it. I love it. I love it.
I'd be very tempted as well. I think.
I've been off the proton pack and
Yeah.
sit there.
Yeah. I mean that costume. I think you're right. When you said earlier, I think it's one of the most well-designed costumes. It just jumped. I thought it looked stunning. So yeah,
I think we're not going to get a better version of that. You know, like it's not going to be another Kang with the purple and green.
Yeah.
That looks nicer. You know.
Yeah. Roscoe's just saying he still hasn't seen Ant-Man, but he's seen a lot of mixed reviews. But people are saying it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl meets Star Wars. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
I don't know why you're bringing Star Wars into it. But
well, that's an interesting comment because I did say to you there were times when I got a very Star Wars vibe from it. It felt a bit Star Warsy to me at times. Anyway, let's talk about some of the other characters. Bill Murray. Did you jump at Bill Murray's appearance? Anybody?
I thought it was a waste of time. You know.
Efren, do you know what? That is pretty much exactly what I said as well.
Yeah, sorry. You know, I was expecting
Bill Murray.
I was expecting more from this character. I thought he was going to have a bigger part.
Is that who he was?
You know, so I just said, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
I just can't believe the audacity that they did like a promo poster for him, and you know, he's like listed on the main names and the big poster and things. Like it did not warrant that.
He plays his role though, you know, like there's not really room in this movie for.
Yeah, it's Bill Murray always plays Bill Murray. You know, we've spoken about it earlier with Paul Rudd and The Rock and that. Like Bill Murray is Bill Murray, so it did work because they needed But me and Peter were saying how, like he's probably not going to come back, right? Like I can't see any reason why we'd have this character back, and yet they completely missed the trick to have that creature thing eat him. Yeah, so the creature thing takes him and it's racking him about. Yeah. But surely that's a joke that writes itself, you know, so that's the first missed opportunity for tonight. More to come.
Yeah. I mean, I was quite excited about Bill Murray being, because I love Bill Murray, and I know there's issues with him and all the rest of it, but I love Bill Murray. But it felt totally flat. There wasn't even for me any of that Bill Murray kind of humor or charm in his character. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if it was a smaller actor or another actor, you would be more positive on this character, though? You know,
I think if it was a smaller actor or character, I wouldn't have even noticed.
Yeah,
well, like Warwick Davis, you mean?
God, he's off again. No. Yeah. So yeah, no, he didn't do it for us. Didn't do it.
Okay.
The other characters. Now, I don't know what many of them are called.
Quaz is on the right here.
What's Quaz?
Quaz, the guy who reads minds.
Okay.
Is the guy with holes. With no holes.
You can definitely tell from these characters that this is written by a Rick and Morty writer.
What's her name? Well, they are Marvel comic characters. Just not Feb, but she is and Quaz is, I think.
Gentora.
Gentora, is it? Gentora.
Quaz I really like because this actor is one of the main characters in a show I really love called The Good Place. So that was just a nice cameo for me. Yeah. I thought Zeb or Veb, whichever, had some of the bad. I thought the whole holes thing was some of the funniest stuff in the movie.
I enjoyed that character. I have to say, I did enjoy that character.
And surprisingly, that's David Dastmalchian, who is the friend in the last two movies as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I like the guy with the energy star thing in his head, whatever, when he was shooting lasers and stuff. Yeah. But what I'm going to say, and you can disagree or agree with us, is none of these were particularly memorable to me. The fact that I don't even know the names says a lot. I did miss, and I've put it on the bottom corner there, I did miss the three characters that have been in Ant-Man 1 and 2. I enjoyed that that I don't know how you would have tied them into it, but I did miss them.
I mean, imagine they were there. That would almost been a fun kind of dynamic
Yeah.
of them in the Quantum Zone.
Yeah. But what did you guys think of these few supporting characters? Was there anybody that jumped out at you, or any that you think we could have done without?
So missed opportunity. Sorry, James.
Oh, go on. Oh, you're probably going to say the same thing.
You know, he puts the rod out, and then we're all going to bite at the same time, aren't we? For me, this missed opportunity number 2 coming up, right? We will not be talking about any of these characters in 5 years or whatever. Like, we will. No one is clambering to see these characters in a future film. Like, this is a missed opportunity, right? You could have had the quantum realm serve as a dumping ground for the multiverse, for things that are not wanted by the multiverse, or things that have gone wrong, in characters that have done wrong or whatever, been exiled from the multiverse, Kang obviously being the main one. What if these characters were the likes of, you know, Howard the Duck? You could have had an X-Baby there. You could have had, like, you know, like obscure Z-list Marvel characters from like Exiles and books like that, you know, like could have had Blink, like all these kind of random characters, like, and then people would have got excited because they would have seen characters that they've already been introduced to from the comics, and naturally those characters are more memorable anyway because they're popular in the comics, so that all that tends to translate on screen. So why pluck just it's like they've randomly picked a name from like one page in a comic and then made the character completely, you know, aesthetically something completely different. And as a result, you've just got real throwaway characters that, like, you did not care. I personally did not care if any of these guys kind of perished in Kang's, you know, kind of anguish. And none of them bloody, like, only the bloody light face did anyway. And it was just like, are you expecting me to like shed a tear for that moment? And it was just so, and she didn't even react. She was just like,
Yeah,
was, just a part of a forgettable backdrop that is this film.
I did really like Quaz and Veb, but Gentaro I think is the worst thing in this movie. Like, just a really generic warrior woman, no like interesting aspects to her story or anything. I don't know if it's the actress or
great actress. I got to be honest with you.
Maybe if you got like a Michelle Rodriguez for this or something, and or made this like a more recognizable character like Angela or something, this would have been maybe more interesting. But yeah, I thought that was sort of boring. I was
chatting with some guys later on, and I was thinking it's such a shame that the microverse isn't in Marvel's kind of game plan at the moment, because that would have worked if you'd seen Bug or if you'd seen, you know, some of the other microverse characters. But I'm with Ben on this. None of these characters. I'm not going to be looking.
He's such a great actor, the dude who plays Quaz or whatever as well, like from Quiet Place. Like and it's like you know, I would have loved to have seen him in the MCU actually as someone integral to things.
Yeah. I mean that said, I did laugh at the no holes bit. I thought he was fun. And I have to say, slight disagreement with Ben when the guy with the fact that I don't know the frigging name, the guy with the light up head, when he died, I did think, oh, I quite liked him. He was quite cool. But that was about it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't an emotional hit. Efren, what about yourself? I know you did a short where you talked about some of this. What did you think?
Yeah, I really missed Luis and his the two other characters. I just wish they would have been in this movie. I thought they were. I was looking so forward to that. Just Luis do his, you know, synopsis of the movies, you know, what happened in the scene. I just think that was a missed opportunity. Put them in there somehow. They were just, to me, I was like, dang it, they're not in there. You know, that really bummed me out. The one character that I like.
Or you could have even had them at the birthday party at the end, couldn't you? Anything. Do you know what I mean? Just
anything. You know, I thought
he could have been like, so let me get this straight, and then retell the story. Really
got such into the laser. Laser went this way.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I cut you off. With the one on the bottom left-hand side, you know, I got holes now. I thought that was funny. Yeah, you know, but the other characters were just not memorable for me. Yeah.
Or the drink the ooze. I thought it was funny as hell. You just drank me. I chuckle at that.
Yep.
Jason, how about you? Did any of these stick in your mind as memorable characters?
That red jelly thing. It's quite funny, wasn't it? With the holes. And
Yeah.
then he basically ate everyone then, didn't he?
Yeah.
Not really. You know when they said the bit about you've got 7 holes or whatever?
Yeah.
I had to stop and think.
I
Well,
thought
was the
that
joke.
was good.
So
Yeah.
did Paul Rudd. He just
Paul
stood for a
Rudd.
second.
Oh,
That was
Yeah,
really good.
right,
that
yeah.
was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Don't know.
interesting. Now, moving on to that.
Oh,
MODOK. I think a lot of you were quite interested and excited on this. I know MODOK is one of, certainly I know Ben's favourite characters. We saw this in the trailer and I think it looked okay, looked good. It was a different version to the original. Remember, we saw the angular kind of image a while ago.
Yeah.
And then we got the reveal of
What did you want? Like, it's a big face, you know. That's people were pissy about the metal face, and they made it a big face. So you should be happy.
I'm gonna hand you over to Mr. Crampton there to explain what the issue with the big face is.
Look, James, the CGI you cannot defend the CGI here. Like because if I'm going to defend the CGI, I will say that maybe the final couple of shots of him dying.
That's why I
probably
put these
looked
two
better
on,
than
Ben. That's
any
why I
of the
put
other
these two on.
shots. But
Yeah.
every other shot like looked awful. Like what they did as well, they made this kind of aesthetic decision to kind of have his like eyes kind of kind of slanted and sort of and it didn't like MODOK never looks kind of like his face is the face, you know, and the mouth. I mean, for me, like Darren Cross, I'm trying to remember the actor's name now. Anyway, he just didn't emote, and maybe it was kind of part of his work that they said try and not open your mouth too much, but his mouth kind of didn't really express that much, and the words felt out of sync. So the whole kind of the overall picture with all of that said, it just felt really like it just felt completely unbelievable. It took you out of the kind of any sense of reality that you were trying to get from this film, although I didn't get much. Yeah, it just looked horrendous. While you're on me, I might as well. I'm going now. So
You're off.
So that's the CG. It looked horrendous. I don't mind you changing the whole character. Like, you know, obviously I don't mind that. Like, I quite enjoy when Marvel kind of like plays with characters' identities and things like that, as long as you stay true to the kind of essence of said character. So for me, like the idea of having MODOK be Darren Cross, gadget went wrong, he kind of got fucked up going down to the quantum realm or whatever, and then obviously got manipulated and experimented on by Kang to become MODOK. Great, love that. But you need to come into that performance with that MODOK sensibility, you know, that crazy, maniacal, like, no, you listen to me, I am MODOK. Like, you know, like that is how MODOK should be. He should be like, you know, can't even catch his breath. He's like
he's angry all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the floating epitome of small man syndrome. That is MODOK, you know. And I never got that kind of, you know, he still felt very Darren Cross, which worked as Yellow Jacket because Yellow Jacket was shirt and tie villain, you know, so it kind of works that kind of more kind of calm, cool, collected persona. And here, I just didn't get it. There were kind of hints of that like loser MODOK, you know, at the end where he's kind of like, am I an Avenger? You know, like you were kind of starting to go into that kind of MODOK realm there, but yeah, for me it was just a complete miss. Like I don't know what to say. Like I'm really disappointed because it's not even like Mandarin. They've managed to retcon, you know, and kind of go, actually no, you can't do that here now. That's it. That's our MODOK.
Well, you never know. They can find a way.
Maybe we'll get a Modam or whatever, like but you can't redo this character now.
Well, there's the multiverse now.
Yeah, different versions, I suppose. I mean, I'm going to come to you each
Bring
in a
in
second.
Patton Oswalt.
Oswalt. Yeah. I'll bring in each of you to mention that, talk about this in a second, because I think this is going to be one of the key points that a lot of people are talking about in the movie. But I would agree 100% with Ben. I put these two images up on purpose. I couldn't find many images, but I think on that one where he's dying, that looks decent. That looks like a proper.
Right. You know what that is, though? That's his actual head, and he's encased in that prop.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jason.
Yeah.
That's not CGI. Right. He's not moving.
Yeah.
So his whole body was underneath that, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think when they did the CGI version, it was laughable at points.
Well, people did. When the second the mask came off in my screen, people pissed themselves.
Yeah. Amanda kept laughing every time we saw his face. She was giggling.
You said something before, Jason, and I think you're right. I think it's almost like the kind of, they had a framework and they stretched his face around to fit it, which made it look computerized. And I mean, again, I was talking about this a while ago, and I don't know if there was such an outrage when that angular design of MODOK came out that they've rushed this into the movie at the end and just not put the time and effort into it.
The problem I had with it was that he had this like wraparound head almost, but flat.
Yeah.
There was no feature sticking out. It felt really, really flat. Just, and I'm sure there's people out there who like the Corridor crew who would be able to do that a lot better than what. I think the problem is they're not paying enough money, are they, to the Marvel people? So I don't think they care enough. Also, they're being stretched, aren't they, with all the TV series? So I think the CGI in the films are suffering as a result because there's just not enough people to do a decent job. It's clearly rushed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I said to Peter in the car on the way back, I said I would have rather them have done full practical, like animatronic face and it looks stupid and get a laugh than CGI and it looks stupid and get a laugh.
Completely.
Efren, what do you think? Did you find any feeling of danger from this character? Did you think that he was a threat to anybody?
No, I think one of the problems is that everybody who's into comic books knows who MODOK is in the comic books. And I don't think some characters to me don't translate good into movies. And this was one of the characters. Like I said, CGI was just terrible. I just didn't like this character. I think they could have got any other character. They could have made up somebody that's a henchman that probably would have been more menacing than him. Because I didn't take him seriously throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. James, what did you think?
I really liked this portrayal of MODOK, to be honest. I have no attachment to MODOK as a character in the comics or anything, and I get it if you're a fan. Like, MODOK should be an Avengers movie villain. That's the kind of level he is portrayed a lot of the time. But I enjoyed the performance. I think a lot of the humor with him is some of the better humor in the movie. I love the disdain that Kang treats him with, like when he's like, "You do not talk in front of me." I thought that was great, and I thought he had like a really interesting arc. Like, it does sort of come out of nowhere, the whole like, "Don't be a dick. Am I a dick? I'm not a dick." It's sort of out of nowhere. But I thought it was a fun inclusion, and I'm happy he's there.
Were you not distracted by the CGI, James? Did it not hit you?
I mean, it looks goofy as shit, but like it's MODOK. Like, it's not gonna, I didn't care that much really. Like, there's a lot of bad looking stuff in this movie. I think when Baskin Robbins Antman is in the quantum realm, that looks atrocious, I think. But like,
I forgot about that.
That looks that was the most green screeny. Like,
I've seen the easiest thing you could possibly do as well. Like,
I don't know if it's because he's not in a super suit; it just kind of doesn't mesh as well. But I didn't really have a particular problem with the design or the CG with it.
You see, I don't think that. I hear what Ben's saying about it not being the MODOK that we wanted to be in terms of the character. I think I could have accepted that if the CGI wasn't so bad. I would have
I would have been kind of if it looked good.
But again, I think this is Ian Carter's saying there, is it the same CGI company for She-Hulk? I think Marvel's starting to struggle now with its CGI. There's been some really ropey stuff in some of the shows, and I kind of put that down to the fact that there were TV shows, Disney Plus, and all the rest of it. But it's in the movies now as well, isn't it? And you kind of get away with
They've
this.
just not got enough time, these guys,
Yeah.
like to do what
No.
they need to do.
Okay.
Take it
Moving
off,
on.
please. Thank you.
Moving on. The final battle, guys. The kind of the
It was great.
the accumulation of everything. Jason, we'll come to you first. What did you
Yeah,
think
great.
of the final battle?
It was exciting. It was great. It was full of action, lots of things blowing up, which I like. And that seeing that huge giant Antman,
Yeah,
you know, it's quite funny. And when he said he met Cassie and they were both big, he said, "I feel like Godzilla." That was good.
Yeah.
Because it was like people in like rubber suits, wasn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great scene.
So for me, despite us saying it was meh and all the rest of it, it was, you know, it's pretty by the numbers, but I did enjoy the end in terms of the battle and stuff. I thought this was pretty cool. And even though I was moaning about ants defeating Kang, I did like the bit where the ants came over the bridge. I thought that was quite, it reminded us a little bit of Avatar with kind of the animals suddenly, in the first Avatar movie, the animals kind of suddenly coming to help and all the rest of it. And I thought the CGI and stuff in this particular scene was pretty good, and it was an amazing watching Kang cut loose. Efren, come to you next. What did you think of the finale?
I love the end. I mean, these fight scenes, when they're choreographed the right way, and I think this was, you know, just brings the movie, you know, up to its crescendo, you know, and I just really enjoyed it. Everything, it makes me think that, you know, Giant Man is real. I go, wow, that looks so real, you know, and I just even Kang when he was fighting and when the ants came up, you know, and, you know, beat him down, you know, I thought it was just, and that more good acting, you know, from Jonathan Majors. He's just a good actor, you know, really, they picked the right actor for Kang. Like I said, you know, previously, you know, all his different iterations are going to be coming, you know, very talented actor. But yeah, I love this scene.
I mean, given Marvel its due, I can't really think of many casting decisions have made that I've thought, oh, that's not good. They seem to have a good track record with getting the right people for the right roles, I think.
Yeah. Iron Fist, maybe.
Oh, well, yeah, but that wasn't, was that Marvel? Was that?
That was Marvel Netflix.
I don't know how involved.
Yeah.
Ben, what did you think of this climax?
It was just numb to it, to be honest. Like, you know, the whole environment from the moment they kind of enter the quantum realm for me just felt like just really unimaginative, very forgettable. It was just kind of rocks and some purple clouds and shit like that would be fine. Like I spoke earlier about the supporting cast and, you know, the rest of all the creatures and stuff. Like, you know, less is more. And I know you spoke about Star Wars, and we were speaking about like the cantina scene in Star Wars and stuff. And the reason that works is everything else is quite simple other than the actual creatures, than the monsters. So you focus on them and you focus on their details and their kind of oddities. But the problem with this, there's so much going on the screen that you just completely, like, I just completely kind of numb out to it. And one of the joys for me of Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2 and Civil War is seeing Ant-Man when he's Giant Man, like in our environment. You know, it kind of gives you an idea, and it kind of has more of an impact here.
With the scale.
It just completely kind of, because it's just in this like kind of generic-y sort of sci-fi city that you know, if you ask me to draw one of these ships in a week's time, I won't be able to.
Well, look at the screenshot there.
Well, I mean, if I really needed to, I'll go back and watch this video and then work off the screenshot. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying. I mean, it was great to see him finally kind of go to those levels of growth. And I did quite enjoy the moment with like him and Cassie as they're both big and things like that. Seeing Kang cut loose, but again, the big missed opportunity for me here is not having him execute someone that we know or someone that we love.
I agree.
You know,
because he had Janet, could have killed Janet.
You've got like 5 fucking people to choose from there. Like, you know, it's like, so like that is the biggest kind of missed opportunity in this, because you could have had the ants after that Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of it takes
Well,
you
you
to
could
that place.
you could have had
and then
Hank enraged, couldn't you, and calling on the ants after he watches his wife die or something like that.
Yeah.
Or right at the end, where they think they've all got home and one of them hasn't, and he kills him.
Well,
Like
I mean,
sacrifice, because that's kind of how I thought it was going to go.
yeah,
That's how it was almost being set up, and it was weird. It was like a weird thing where, like, usually it's set up to look like a happy ending, and you get the bad ending, and it's like, oh shit, like I wasn't expecting that. Here, it made it look like something bad was going to happen, but nothing did, and then it was just like,
I was disappointed. I was slightly excited at the end of the film when I thought Ant-Man and Wasp were going to be stuck in the quantum realm. I thought that would be an interesting take on it, but then they kind of almost undid that within seconds of it happening.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
James, what did you think of the finale?
I really loved it. I thought it was great. It felt like it had stakes. Like I said, it felt to me like if he got out, it's over. Seeing him, like you said, seeing him cut loose, just evaporating people was terrifying. And I even loved, like, right at the end when his suit's kind of damaged, like he's a beast, like he's just a really good fighter as well.
The fighting technique was good.
A cold shower after that.
Yeah, he just smashes that man's helmet and everything. I thought that was great as well. And like even like the way he's kind of sprinting for the to teleport through the thing and get shot back. I thought that was good. It was nice that Hope has something to do, because I feel like she is kind of really pushed to the side in this movie, especially for a title character. So at least she comes in at the end and kind of saves the day there.
She did nothing until that moment. This whole film, like she.
It's interesting, guys. I know it's interesting that we haven't even spoken about her in the last hour.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not even.
She wasn't even discussed when you had the main characters up, because we talked about Pfeiffer.
Yeah. That's right. You're right, Jason. Yeah.
I think Ben made a great point. I think one of the main characters should have died going back to another movie, when Iron Man died in the movies. That was wow. It grabbed everybody's attention. I think Hank, Pym, or Janet. One of them should have died. They're never going to be probably.
I agree. I think we all agree. I think Ant-Man should have died.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. He's not an A-list Avenger, is he? He's not an A-list character, I would say. And it just goes to show that it would have shown Kang's power, that he has the ability to kill an Avenger, and then you'd bring in the real Avengers then afterwards.
Yeah. To revenge.
I read something. I thought I read a spoiler about Ant-Man dying.
I
was kicking myself.
Yeah.
There was something. It was a headline in Variety or something, and it said that returns are down on Quantumania because Disney have not given Paul Rudd a future leading role or something like that.
Right.
I thought, fuck, he's dead. He's dead.
Well, the trailers had sort of hinted that he was going to die, so that's why I was like, he's not. Like, there's no way. You're not going to indicate that.
On one of the trailers, does he not say, "Have I killed you before" or something? I can't remember. Was that in the movie?
Yeah, he said you're an Avenger.
Are
you the one with the hammer?
Yeah. I think we'll probably all agree that it sounds awful to say it, but it would have been nicer, or it would have felt more impactful had it been some kind of.
Perhaps could have been darker, couldn't it? It could have been a bit darker.
Yeah. Just want to quickly jump to the chat, guys. Just a few comments here. Going back to the previous slides, is it because they're doing too much and I haven't got enough time? I think this is in regards to the CGI. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's absolutely it, Matthew. I think they've bitten off more than you. And the sad thing is that it's starting to really impact. I mean, this group, us on the screen here, are all die-hard Marvel fans, I think. And I think you can see that some of us are starting to wane. And I think that is because the quality is dipping, whether it's the CGI or whether it's the writing or what. I don't know. It's scary. Fuzzy saying it's laughable in that 2023 any billion-dollar blockbuster has any CGI problems. Absolutely. Yeah. And at this point, but they know they're just printing money, I suppose, aren't they? So, yeah, it's just bizarre. We're talking about characters that weren't well cast. Fuzzy saying Rhodes and Antman. Yeah, absolutely. Was it Terrence? Can't remember
Terrence
his name.
Howard, I
Terrence
really
Howard.
liked Terrence Howard, and I was upset he was recast. I
can't-
liked Don Cheadle in the role because we've had him so much since, but I thought that was really
They're
good
both
casting.
great actors.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's that long ago. I can't remember much of his role in the first Iron Man, to be honest.
Next time, baby.
Can't think of many more. Can you guys think of any really badly cast MCU characters?
There's not many at all. Like, the movies are
think of
usually spot on. Yeah.
Darren Cross as Mother.
yeah. It was interesting. It was interesting to see Kang had put together his own version of the First Order Army. Yeah, he must have watched Force Awakens. Yeah. Very, very standard by the numbers, weren't they? Ben mentioned this, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it again. The CGI in it. It was, and I don't know if this is one of the things that impacted on my enjoyment of the movie, was that Ant-Man has always been a very grounded character, and that's probably what I enjoyed about the first two movies. This was very, very well, it was all CGI, wasn't it? Did that bother anybody?
I think the problem with this, and if you go back and watch other MC movies, you'll notice that the background is always slightly out of focus, and that's how you know they're standing in front of a green screen. Like, even like the airport sequence in Civil War, you notice like the back is just a little bit off. Whereas here they wanted to highlight the detail in the background, so they didn't have it out of focus, and so they just stand out as being in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
I think that's what the problem is here.
Interestingly, I saw this film in IMAX 3D,
Insane.
and I think I got the CGI. I think for me seemed better because you had a lot of depth of field because of the 3D. So it didn't impinge. Although as soon as they went into the quantum realm, I did miss like Earth 616, and I felt almost like this is almost a bit like another Avatar, where everything is CGI.
It's really interesting you're saying that, Jason, and that's why I've put that little cinema image on, because I saw this with Ben at I can't remember what, Showcase Cinema or something.
Everyone?
No,
Showcase.
Showcase. And it was a big fancy screen, and it was great in terms of the color palette was really bright and all the rest of it. I then went to see it again with my family, and we went to the Odeon nearby in the cheaper seats, and it was horrific. It was dark, and I couldn't make out a lot of the scenes. And it really did make us realize the night and day difference between paying to go and see a movie like this in a better screen, because the Odeon was it was horrific, absolutely horrific. Anybody else want to think about the CGI?
It's not even necessarily all on the CGI as well. It's so dark, as you say. It's got this kind of horrible. And I know it's kind of supposed to be a reflection of the shit that's going on in the clouds and that, but this kind of orangey, sort of browny kind of like saturation to everything. And and again, the charm of that first and second Ant-Man film is how fresh everything is, and it's in San Francisco, and a lot of the fight sequences in Ant-Man are like in the broad daylight, which I always love, because you know, how many films do we love that go to fight in the night and in the rain because it's easier for the effects guys and stuff? So like that was one of the charms in it, and it just completely like, I mean, the Shark Girl and Lava Boy thing is obviously been a meme, but it's like it's scary how similar,
I think one of the things is, when it comes to CGI, we want the best. I mean, from Star Wars to all these DC movies that come out, if the CGI isn't good, it just doesn't make the movie just as that. It brings down the movies when you don't have good CGI.
Yeah, it takes you straight out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Silver Knight Kyle's just come with an interesting point there. He's saying biggest surprise MCU casting for me was Tessa as Valkyrie. First look, she thought she was too petite, but she owned that role, and now I think she's one of the best ever. I absolutely agree. She's superb, stunning in that role.
Great.
Okay, guys. So there is a danger, isn't there? I think at times that because we are comic book nerds and geeks, we kind of look too harshly on things or too positively on things. So I was very aware that we were going to be talking quite a bit of negativity about some of the elements tonight, like the Modok and stuff like that, which I think we've all probably agreed wasn't the best in some regards, apart from James. So what I want to end on is one positive. I want you to each tell us something positive that you enjoyed about this movie or something that you enjoyed. So I'll start off and I'll pick the easy one, which is absolutely Kang. I thought Kang was superb in this. You can't see the same thing, by the way. I thought Kang was absolutely superb in this. Set it up for future movies. So yeah, and that costume there. Sexy. So, James, we'll come to you.
Well, if I can't pick Kang, I would say Michelle Pfeiffer is probably the second best thing in this movie. I think it's a really great performance. She portrays that kind of scared, like she's terrified, and you can tell. And I think that also kind of elevates Kang a bit as well. Like you're kind of anticipating his arrival. So yeah, I think her performance in here was almost flawless.
Very good. Yeah, she's an incredible actress. Efren.
That fucking cunt in the arse.
You know me too well.
More Loki at the end when Tom Hiddleston shows up in a movie or in a TV show. The TVA. I mean, I went, wow. That really, for some reason, that really grabbed my attention. That's one actor, like the actor that they got to portray Kang, spot on Loki. Tom Hiddleston. I know they don't want to put him in every movie, but that one little snippet at the end, I went, wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens with him.
I assume we're coming to that in a moment.
Yeah, you're right, Efren. Superb. Jason.
Well, seeing Ramatat, I thought, yes, here we go. He's going to be flying around in his pyramid. That'd be great.
No, that's cool.
Hunter. And of course, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's brilliant in it. Well, what's that from? What is that from?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, that's
Is that Ace Ventura?
Yeah, Ace Ventura. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh,
the second one.
It's when he goes to the hospital.
Oh, it is the first one.
Yeah. Ben, what we're left with?
I don't fucking know. Veb.
Veb,
that's my answer. You've all, Pfeiffer and Kang would have been my top choices, but yeah, Veb.
Veb, yeah, I enjoyed Veb. I thought Veb. Right then, and then we'll get to this. We'll get to the kind of the mid-credit scene and the end credit scene. First of all, we get these guys standing discussing. I'm interested to know your thoughts. So obviously, I recognise straight away Immortus, I think, and Ramatut. The third person, I'm not sure who that was. Was it
Scarlet Centurion? Supposed to be.
How do you know it was supposed to be that, James? Is it?
I think they've said it since.
Oh, they've said it since, have they?
I think so.
All right. Okay. What did we think of this scene? We'll come to Ben first.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, the obviously you've got the background image you're using there is from Avengers 292, and it was like lifted straight from that issue. So that was very, very cool to see. Just to kind of return to, because I think in Phase 4, Marvel's almost been ashamed of itself, for like post-credit scenes and interweaving the MCU and kind of giving reference to other characters or showing other characters. It's kind of been like stepped back from that. So it's nice to kind of get that return to like, no, like here is a proper little kind of sprinkle of what's to come. This is a massive post-credit scene in terms of kind of it's essentially kind of mapped out now what's going down over the next few years in all the other films and stuff. So yeah, just really good. I had to rush off to the bloody toilet, didn't I, for the second one, but I did watch it online since, and I just loved that one because it was just like it went straight back into that kind of tone of the Loki series, and the kind of the kind of I spoke about it earlier about the way things are lit and stuff. Loki feels like it's very much got its kind of retro like aesthetic to kind of match up with the TVA, and it kind of took me straight back into that. So that was really exciting. Yeah,
very cool. Efren, what did you think of the post-credit scenes?
I like this scene, especially what Jason said, Ramatut. I mean, that would be I don't know if Ramatat first came out, I believe, in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So I don't know if some way they can introduce.
He's
Fantastic Four with
rumored
that,
to be the lead villain in.
Oh,
that
he
movie.
is. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I really hope so.
I really like this scene, except for the guy on the right. What was his name? Scarlet Centurion.
Scarlet
I sent you
Centurion.
guys a picture, and I said, "What kind of costume is this, man?" I mean, I
Do
just started
we
laughing.
know that Scarlet Centurion? Because
See, that's
I
what
was looking at it and I was like, what if that's Iron Lad? And he
Yeah.
just hasn't put a mask up yet.
And that's the
And
reason
it
I
was
asked,
very
because
robot-like.
and I'm very familiar, obviously, with Scarlet Centurion. I'd sent that image to you guys a while ago. That didn't look like Scarlet
Yeah,
Centurion.
there's no red on the
to me,
costume at all.
yeah, which
Right.
was why I said to Ben, I said, I'm not sure who that third guy was. Who was he? And then Ben mentioned Iron Lad, which would make sense.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so many gangs.
Yeah,
Choose from.
yeah. And I mean, one of the other things is, and I'll have to go back and reread, but Kang, or Ramatut in particular, I think, is supposed to be linked to the Fantastic Four. Isn't it supposed to be Reed Richards' dad at one point? Or there's some version where he's related to
Fuzzy's
Reed
saying
Richards.
it is Scarlet Centurion in Variety, apparently.
Ah, right.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. Thanks, Fuzzy. So I wonder if this will tie into the Fantastic Four somehow.
Yeah, well, I
Isn't
mean, Rabbit
Nathaniel Richards? Didn't isn't he become Kang? Nathaniel Richards?
I think, well, they're all, yeah. I'm sure Nathaniel Richards is
he's a descendant, isn't he?
Ramatut at some point.
No,
Yeah.
they're all the scientist in the future.
They're all Nathaniel.
Yeah.
They're all
Yeah.
Richards.
Yeah.
They're like he's like a descendant of both Doctor Doom and
Yeah.
Fantastic. So
Yeah, because Scarlet Centurion is wearing Doom armor, so that's the whole point of. So it's Ramatut goes into the future, gets Doom's armor, and comes back as Scarlet Centurion.
Yeah. Is it Fantastic Four? I'm trying to, what is it, number 5? I'm trying to know which one with Ramatut, and you see him with the pyramid. I'm trying to see which cover it is now, but look, it's a great cover. In fact, my friend Lloyd showed me. He's got a copy of it.
Right.
It's a fantastic book, amazing book. But wasn't he retconned? Wasn't he originally just like a pharaoh originally, and then they went back and retconned him and made him.
Mortis and Ramatut were all different characters.
Yeah,
and I guess that's the slight danger, isn't it? That this gets quite complicated for your average moviegoer. I guess they'll have to be very cautious with that. Silver Knight Kyle's just saying there that Kang is Richard's descendant. Yeah, I'm sure there's some link.
Yeah.
But overall, guys, we agree this was a pretty good scene, I think, and I agree with Ben that it was nice to have a post-credit scene that actually felt weighty.
Yeah, it has all the elements like of a great post-credit scene. Like it makes you excited for the next thing. It's a bit ominous as well, and it has surprise characters in it.
Yeah,
I really loved the way like the other Kangs. Some of them seem a bit more like almost childlike. The way some of them are going, it was kind of like, whoa. It's like almost creepy in a way.
Very excitable.
Yeah, I was doing some research for a short I'm going to put out about the Kangs and stuff. And there's a great character called, I think it's called Kang Aru. Don't know if you've seen him. He's from the Peter Parker universe, and he's a kangaroo in a Kang costume. And he was in that kind of series of comics and stuff, piss take. But then when they did the proper Kang kind of Dynasty War, and the Council of Kangs went back to wipe out all the Kangs, they brought him back in and modified his costume, and the Kangs destroy him because he's such a ridiculous character.
I would be a bit concerned about in Kang Dynasty that you don't go overboard on like joke versions of him. Like I think it would undermine it a little bit. So
I think he'll kill everyone.
Maybe.
I think he'll kill them all. There'll be one that kills them all.
So it's going to be like Highlander, yeah?
Yeah, gets powerful.
The only one.
Yeah.
Is that what happens? Right? You get power from them all?
And that'll be the Secret Wars. That he'll end up the Beyonder if he's absorbed all the Kangs.
Yeah, well, this is what me and Peter were saying. We were like, who is Kang? Who's the war going to be with in Secret Wars? Is it going to be Kang versus Beyonder, Kang versus Doom, Kang versus Kang? Like, it's very interesting to.
Well, yeah, in Loki,
go.
That's what it's teasing. Is like this all leads to them all destroying the multiverse, fighting each other. So they're together for the moment.
Interesting stuff. And we've mentioned Loki. That was a great little scene. I'm looking forward to this series. Can't wait for that. Ratings for this, guys. It really has got some interesting ratings. So
me on the left, James on the right there.
The critics have given it 48%, audiences 84%, which is pretty good. Efren, I noticed you've done a poll on your channel. How was that doing?
It was split between yes, I liked it, and it was just an okay movie. It's 50% basically. Nobody said they didn't like it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it.
I haven't voted yet, Efren. I'll get.
I think it just depends. You know, like I said, we all know who these characters are from reading their comic books, so our opinions are going to be different. You know, from somebody.
Yeah.
Real quick, Peter, you said your son, you know, saw it, and obviously he mentioned that Kang part about, you know, he got beat up by ants. Did he know anything about Kang beforehand, or did he just go into it just, you know?
No, and I'd probably done him a disservice because I'd told him, oh, this is going to be Kang's going to be the big bad.
Uh-huh.
You know, they've been leading to this and stuff. So I kind of sold Kang as a very powerful character. My family rating, as you know, I always do. I went with my wife, my 2 kids, and my daughter's partner. Everybody apart from Thomas came out and said it's okay. It's average. Thomas didn't like it. But Thomas gets fixated on like the fact that Kang got beat up by ants. For him, he couldn't get over the fact that this guy's meant to be a conqueror. He's meant to be a massive threat, and Ant-Man beat him very, very easily. So I guess in Thomas's mind, it was, how can this really be the next Thanos level villain if he got bested so quickly and easily? Which I think is fair. Okay, guys. So we've chatted a fair bit about it. I'd like a rating from each of you on where you think this movie stands. So out of 10, I'll start off. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I'm putting it square in the middle as a 5 out of 10 for me. It's a average movie.
It's harsh.
Efren.
I'm basically right there too. You know, I just think it was an average movie. Didn't, you know, I can't wait to see. I'm a sucker for these movies, so I'm going to go see any Marvel movie, put it that way. But I thought this was about a 5, between a 5 and a 6.
Good stuff. Let us know in the chat, guys, if you've watched the movie, what you would put this at as well. James T.
Solid 8 for me. I really enjoyed it. I think if I like I said, I understand the problems with it. I agree with a lot of those, but I think the good stuff in this, Kang in particular, elevates it so much for me that I don't think I can say it's just okay. Like, I think there's a lot of special stuff in this one. So yeah, an 8. If it was more Kang in it, I'd probably go higher.
Good
Anyway,
stuff. And listen, we said this at the very start, and like we've all done these kind of shows before. Everybody's views are important, and I'm just pleased that you get more enjoyment out of it than I did. I think that's great that you've had a good time. So I'm pleased that that you're scoring it an 8. That's good for you, mate. Ben, what about yourself?
I don't know. I can't remember what I gave Doctor Strange, but then when I think about Doctor Strange and my disdain for that, I'd look back on it and I think, well, damn, like there's probably more that I'm going to remember from that at least, you know, and I got more kind of satisfaction on a kind of comic book level, you know, of like, oh, it's them. So this is a 4 for me, guys. Like, yeah, and that really pains me to say. Like, it's literally like Ant-Man's like one of my favorite Avengers. Features MODOK. Like on paper, Kang. Like this should be everything. Yeah, I feel very let down, unfortunately.
that must be like one of. Would you say this is like the worst MCU movie then? Because that's like 4. I wouldn't say.
No, I think Eternals. I probably rated Eternals higher at the time, but I think Eternals
6 or something. I think it came.
Yeah. Let's notch that down to a 3.5.
I mean, even Eternals, you know, that last twist at the end with Icarus and stuff was good stuff.
Back half of that movie is fantastic.
Yeah. Jason.
Well, I'm going to go 7 on this. It would have been 8 if someone died.
In your screening or in the movie?
I think if we had a more abrupt ending, perhaps with a character, it would have added a bit of more weight to Kang and the threat that Kang is. And we get to see that in the post credits, but obviously we didn't see the full power, did we, of Kang? But when they're saying this is the start of the Kang dynasty, you did expect more from him, I guess. Really, looking back, you know.
You see, Jason, I think that's very fair, mate, and I think that's kind of partially my problem with this. As much as I loved Kang, it hasn't set us up thinking he's a Thanos level threat in some ways.
Not yet. But then you got to think about, for about 6 movies, Thanos was sat on a chair just sticking rings
Yeah.
in his
Yeah,
mouth.
like,
but we didn't
think
see
about-
him get beat. Do you know what I mean? He was there, kind of. You know,
That's true.
he was there in the background,
That's- yeah.
menacingly.
But the threat of Kang isn't any one version. It's that there is infinite of him. You know, that's the scary thing about it. So
Just jump into the comments, guys. We've got Ryan here saying, "Hi everyone, MCU film. What do you think is the best? Mine's Avengers: Infinity War." Great
Winter Soldier.
question, Ryan. We'll just quickly go around. I'll start off. Infinity War is amazing, but I think I get more enjoyment out of Civil War. Love that movie. Efren?
Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, hands down is the best MCU.
It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to change my mind. Yeah. James?
Winter Soldier, favorite movie of all time. So
Yep.
yeah, definitely put that
Good
number one.
stuff. Ben?
It's a toss up between Winter Soldier and Guardians Volume 2, I think.
Volume
wow.
2?
Yeah, Volume 2. Yeah. I rewatched that the other day. Much better than I remember. Yeah.
I've only seen it once in the cinemas.
I'll have to rewatch it, I think.
Yeah. Jason?
Wales by Night.
Oh,
Oh.
dear.
Good,
Yeah.
good choice.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were allowed to pick that. Is that a film?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
All right, if we're talking movies, I'd probably say Endgame.
Yeah, for the emotional impact at the end.
Yeah.
I've rewatched
Or
Endgame
Infinity
recently.
War,
Mind you,
then
it's
for
hard.
me, I need to put that in there as well, I think.
If we're picking TV shows, the first Daredevil season 1, and
Yeah.
no, that was a good.
Well,
TV
now we're talking about TV show. I'm joking.
Ryan, do you see what you've started? Yeah. Good stuff, guys. I
Maybe
think
we
the
need
answer,
a
Ryan,
new show
is
to celebrate the MCU
Celebrate that,
after
yeah.
all
Celebrate
this
the MCU.
negative, you know.
because there's some great stuff out there. Rama Tut first appeared in FF19. Yeah, I haven't got that one, I don't think. Jason, you got FF19?
No, I've been after it. It's expensive.
Is it? No, I'm not seeing that one. Was the mid-credit scene a Oh God. Maybe the Council of Kangs will be fighting the Council of Reeds. I'd love to see the Council of
Well,
Reeds.
who's the matey, the Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, the evil one or whatever? What's he called?
Yeah. He got all burned out. He's called Reed Richards. But he's called.
He's got a fucking name.
Yeah, is he the
Shoot your face.
controller or the master or something? It's something weird like that.
Something like that, but he could
Yeah.
maybe. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Council of Reeds. So we've got some scores coming in, guys. Matthew's giving it a 4. Silver Knight Kyle 6.5. Ian 5.5. We've got a 5 out of 10 here. Oof. I think it's lovely work, chaps. Always your biggest fans. Thank you very much, Fuzzy. Do appreciate that. And then Kyle saying someone should have been pulled in with Kang, added more tension. Yeah, actually, that would have been a good,
100%.
Wasp. That would have been an interesting end. And Fuzzy, She-Hulk for the win.
Yay!
Yeah, champion She-Hulk. So those scores are interesting, guys. There's not many high scores there in what we're seeing. Yeah.
Honestly, I know Jason said similarly, but I think this is my favorite of the Ant-Man movies. Objectively, not the best one, but my favorite anyway. It's the one I watched the most.
We've got a solid 8 there. So yeah. So and I think, as I've repeatedly said, we're all allowed to have different opinions and different views. And I think this movie really does, out of probably most of the Marvel movies that we've had, it's kind of split people. I think some people have really enjoyed it, which is great, and some people have had real issues with it.
And look, like certain things people are going to take more personally than the others. Like for me, the MODOK thing I take personally, so that immediately notches it down a score. Whereas someone else might just be like, "Oh, it's MODOK, whatever." Like So it's one of those things. Isn't it?
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, guys, that brings us to the end of what we're chatting about Quantumania. Thank you very much, chaps. It's been really interesting. Just to quickly, we're not going just yet, Jason. Hang fire.
Bye.
We're gonna just quickly touch
yourself,
a few
man.
things. Yeah. Next Monday's live show is going to be Spotlight on Spider-Man. So we'll be looking a little bit at the history of Spider-Man, the media appearances in cartoons and movies. Look at some merchandise and then look at some comic books. So recommend some stories. So please do check out that show next Monday. I hope that you guys will join me for that as well. Should be an interesting discussion. Efren, what's this on your channel?
This is a new segment I just started. I just dropped it today. It's just comic culture, just takes on movies, TV shows, trending stories, comic book news, anime. I do a market watch. I just show which books are selling on eBay. I just started it yesterday and just, giving it a try and see how it goes.
Fantastic. I've not seen that one yet, Efren. I'll have to check that out when we finish. So looking forward to watching that. And we've got this one, Efren.
These are my YouTube shorts. It's just like comic book trivia about all different types of characters that I do, just 1 minute shorts.
Brilliant. James, what's this?
Yep. On Wednesday, 8 o'clock, we'll be doing our Last of Us, our weekly Last of Us review. So we're on episode 6 now. I watched it last night. It's fantastic, like most of the show. And then I've been doing some shorts kind of on the series as well, like as episodes are coming out, kind of seeing comparisons and enemy type comparisons, stuff like that.
Right, good stuff. Am I going to cry in this one again?
I cried.
Wow.
I can't take the emotional burden of this bloody show. I tell you, it's superb.
Yeah.
Speaking of emotional burden, Ben,
James cried
what are
at the
these
titles for that bloody show? So I'm telling a dad joke a day for 30 days on my channel. So if you like Star Wars and if you like terrible puns and bad jokes, then my channel is the place for you over the next month. Might bring the Geeky Gas Bag Show back at some point. Just it's probably going to be a little bit more ad hoc. So if some big news drops, we might hop on. But yeah, for now, I'm just kind of posting these shorts out and hopefully raising a smile.
Good stuff. I'm loving these, Ben. I am absolutely loving these.
Oh, I
You're
hate
right.
them. They're awful.
They're terrible
I hate
jokes.
them.
Terrible jokes, but it is entertaining. to watch.
Tomorrow's a favourite, actually.
Is it? So yeah, loving it. Jason, have we got anything coming up on your channel? Or
No.
tell a little bit about this comic sale you're doing in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, okay, guys, check this out. Who'd have thought you could sell comics at a train station? Not me, that's for sure.
Genius.
So I've set up my little stall inside a coffee shop called Coal Trains, run by Al Edge. What a name, so cool, really nice guy. And basically, loads of people come along and buy comics from me. It's always on the first Saturday of every month at Barry train station. I appreciate it's probably a long way for a lot of people to come. But if you are in the southwest area, come on by. It starts at 9 a.m., finishes at 12 p.m. And we have fun and frivolity. We have a laugh. And there's coffees and refreshments and drinks and all sorts there. So please come along. I'd appreciate
Sounds
that.
brilliant, Jason. Sounds really good, mate.
Very
Really
cool.
good. So go along to that and make sure you have a chat with Jason, pick up some bargains. Good stuff.
Oh, he's
look at
flexing.
Oh, look what he's got.
Unbelievable.
him flexing. Look at
It's
him.
an unsolicited
Ventures
flex
8.
right there.
Efren, one of we're very kind viewers is asking there, has anybody got the first appearance of Doctor Doom? I know I haven't, but I would love it.
No,
I don't think Jason's got it. Efren,
no.
one you haven't got, Efren.
No.
Crazy money again.
Shocking.
Haha.
Actually, I just sold it. I just sold
You
it on
just-
eBay.
Have you?
You sold Avengers 8?
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't fucking drop it then.
Signed by Stan Lee as well.
Just sold this
Beautiful.
on.
Is it signed that one,
Beautiful.
Efren?
Yeah, it's signed.
See, I sold mine about 2 years ago.
I sold mine.
You couldn't get rid of it for a while, couldn't you?
Nah, it was hard. It
Yeah.
was hard to shift. But yeah.
Had you taken it?
Okay.
Pence.
Okay, ladies and gents. Thank you very much to the panel. You guys have been amazing as usual. I really do appreciate you spending some time with me. Now's the time to wave, Jason. And thank you very much to everybody that's been in the comments. Really do appreciate you stopping by and watching me. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Bye.